The highly anticipated Galaxy foldable phone is running into some roadblocks. Adrian Kingsley-Hughes has been looking into this for us for ZDNet. And Adrian, this is not great news for Samsung just days ahead of their U.S. launch.
Well, that's true. I think when you're launching a $2,000 smartphone, I think you expect things to be smooth as butter. And when you have an early crop of reviewers who say that the screen didn't last a day, I think that's going to certainly make people think twice about buying something. Yeah, it's not good news.
Not good news. All right, so just tell us exactly what, there were some journalists that were given the phones. Tell us exactly what happened to them. Is it in the hinge, or talk about exactly what they're cracking, where this is going on?
Well, there seems to be two issues at play here. Some of the reviewers seem to have peeled off a vital protective layer off the display, thinking that it was some kind of layer that you peel off to protect the screen in transit. And that seems to have caused certainly issues that some people have said the screen went funny when they did that, the screen went a bit weird. Other people say they've not touched the display, and they believe that what's happened is that some stuff, some debris got in between the hinge mechanism, and that's actually kind of caused damage to the display in the back. But basically, what all this seems to have resulted in is a crop of early reviewers with essentially catastrophic screen damage from using a Galaxy Fold for little more than a day.
Yeah, and you know, when they first announced this, of course, an innovative product when it comes to smartphones, and was the durability something that Samsung talked about with this design?
Durability was something that was rather kind of brushed under the carpet at the time. And it was interesting because I looked closely at some of the photos taken of some of the units that were on display at the launch event. And zooming in on some of those, it was clear that the screens on some of them were suffering some sort of bubbling and damage around the hinge, even the ones that were on display. And that did make me think, I wonder how that's going to get sorted out between now and launch time. But this seems to be a real problem, that displays wouldn't last a day.
Yeah, especially with that kind of price tag. Now, Adrian, as far as Samsung responding to this, have they come out and said anything yet?
Well, they've come out with a statement saying that they're going to look into it. They've also come out with a statement saying, don't peel off this protective layer, and we're going to be telling people who buy it, don't peel off this protective layer, which to me feels a little bit of a dodge. I think if you've got something that can peel off, I mean, human nature is to peel it off. And I think if nothing else, once it starts to peel off, what kind of damage is that going to cause down the line? Samsung has a history of trying to use instructions to keep itself out of problems that it's engineered into products. I remember back with the Note 5, the S Pen, you could put it in the wrong way, but if you did, you would damage the retaining mechanism permanently. And Samsung's response to that was to add in the manual, don't put the pen in backwards because you'll break stuff, which doesn't seem like an ideal solution to me, and definitely doesn't seem like an ideal solution to something that is $2,000.
Yeah, no doubt. And when you talk about, Adrian, Samsung's history, of course, they suffered quite a black eye back in, I believe it was 2016, after they were forced to halt production of the Note 7 because some of those batteries were catching fire. So, when it comes to public relations, Samsung is no stranger to some real problems like this.
Yeah, and Samsung seems to also want to drag out issues much further than maybe a clear statement would. The battery issue took a long time to clear up, and it turns out in the end that it is an engineering issue by putting a battery into a device with tolerances that were too tight, and it was resulting in the battery being pinched. Yeah, it's not good that we're seeing these endless flow of design flaws from Apple in products that are flagship products and products that are selling for a lot of money. And I think this one's going to make people think twice about spending $2,000 on it.
Yeah, and so finally, Adrian, though, they are going ahead, as far as we know, with the launch.
Yes, that's the statement we got the other day, that they're going to work into something which I think is just telling people don't peel the display off. But I think if this is more, I think if there is something to the idea that debris can get into the hinge mechanism and cause problems, I think Samsung could be backing themselves into a corner again, and it could be another PR nightmare for them.
Yep. All right. We're just going to have to wait and see how this turns out. Adrian, we appreciate your insight on this. And for more, make sure you stay with ZDNet.